up on our podcast, and we can even create a separate podcast for you.
Okay. Oh.
Very affordable.
Okay, let's talk. Yeah.
And that's the big thing today.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Let's
Let me
move.
Let me center more.
No, you were fine. You were fine.
I'm fine. Okay.
You look great. Good background too.
Here we go.
And now, the most trusted name in radio, serving the Treasure Coast for over 30 years, Rhett Palmer, the mayor of the airwaves.
Well, it is a new day, if you want it to be, folks. Every day is a new day with the Lord. And we have a new friend on the line, Jose. How do you pronounce your last name, Jose?
Pereira.
And he spent 5 years in confinement. Right, you were kidnapped as the CEO of a major gasoline company, and the name of that company is Citgo, right?
Yes, Citgo.
Wow, to have lived through that, and you said it was your faith that got you through.
Faith, yes.
Well, let's hear all about it. Tell us how this. First of all, how did you become the CEO of Citgo? Who are you? Where are you from originally?
Okay, I'm originally from Venezuela. I began my career in 1985. In Venezuela, when Venezuela was one wealthy country of Latin America by that time.
Yes.
And PDVSA, that was the national oil company, was the 5th oil company of the world. So there's where I began, and I did my career 20 plus years there, and I was transferred here to the U.S.-based company that is Citgo Petroleum. People don't know that Citgo Petroleum belongs to PDVSA. And I came here in 2012 as an expat, as the vice president of the company, because by that time I was having a high-ranked position in PDVSA. When I came here, I was the vice president, and after several years, in 2017, I became the CEO of that company. So that was my career path.
So where did you get educated?
Between here, the U.S. and Venezuela. I did my college in Venezuela, but I did my degree in Florida, in the Florida International University, and in Spain. I did also a taxation diploma in Spain, in Santiago de Compostela.
Okay. And so how many years were you the CEO of Citgo before you were kidnapped?
No, that was my first year. I was, as I said, I was the vice president. And that year, I turned to be the CEO before I got kidnapped, because the people doesn't know that year, that is 2017, if you go back to what happened, in 2017 was Trump in the first administration, and he was trying to throw up these guys in Venezuela, the regime, exactly like it's happening today. What's happening today was something that it was an unfinished task that he began to do it in 2017. He began to impose sanctions. He began to impose sanctions to the country and to the officers of Venezuela. And I saw that battle going in the between, and I was working at a company that belonged to the Venezuelan government, and I didn't feel comfortable with that. So I was ready to get retired that year. I decided to get retired. I had 35 years at that time in the company.
Wow. So where were you when this happened? I mean, tell us what is it like to be kidnapped? I mean, it's got to be scary. How many millions of dollars did they want in exchange for you?
Let me tell you the story. 2017, I was here in Houston. Citgo has the base here in Houston. I live here in Houston. So I was here in Houston, and as I said, ready to get retired. I was in my retire mode. I received a phone call from my boss that he wanted me the next day to go to Venezuela to make a presentation. That Citgo was revamping a refinery in Aruba. So he wanted me to go to make the presentation of the revamping of the refinery in Aruba. I didn't see nothing wrong because it was normal core of business. So I flew to Venezuela the next day with my 5 vice presidents, and I did the presentation. When I finished the presentation, they came like 20 guards, and they came to us, and we were accused to be American spies. So they accused us to be American spies. They put us handcuffed, and we were thrown in the most infamous dungeon of all Latin America, that is the Elite Corridor. So we finalized it there with all the political prisoners of Venezuela. There's where became our night.
Wow, that's got to be a horrendous. Tell us more about it.
Well, the first thing that you don't know what's going on. When that happened, my first thing was that there was a mistake, because I never thought something like that coming to us. Can you imagine 20 guards? I always say that they were dressed up like Robocops. If you see my book, the guard that is in the front that has the mask, this is the way these guys dress up. So 20 guys of that, they came to us, and because that is the military counterintelligence police of that country. So this guy take us, they put us handcuffed, and we finalized in the dungeon with all the political prisoners, including civil and military political prisoners. So it was terrible. We were like living in a hell.
How did they treat you?
Very bad, because at that moment, you say how much millions they were asking. They were not asking for millions. They were asking to get lifted the sanctions that Trump has imposed. They was asking to get lifted an oil embargo that Trump has imposed. And there was asking to get a very famous drug lord. There was a comrade of Maduro, Alex Saab. They were asking to get Alex Saab released. And they were asking to get released his 2 nephews. So they were asking for a lot to get us released.
Crazy.
Totally crazy, of course.
Now, so you never got to see their real faces.
Of these guys, no, because you are in a dungeon. This dungeon is in a military basement. Well, if you see my book, all the image that you see in my book, that is the dungeon. That is the dungeon. Where you see I have it here.
Yeah, let me hold it up there, because I can't see on my screen. I can't see. Hold that up. Hold that up, please.
Okay.
Hold the book up.
Let me hold it. Let me tell you. Let me try to put it. Okay.
The hero de Villano.
Let me put the English version, because I have it in both, in English and in Spanish.
Yes.
Oh, so this is the English version. So these are the guards with masks. And this is the dungeon. Where you see in the back.
You didn't get to see a human face for 5 years?
We saw the faces of the political prisoner after 1 year, because the first year I was in solitary confinement. My first year I was alone in a place that they call the submarine, because it's totally locked, doesn't have window, there is no running water, and you're there.
Did you have a toilet?
A toilet without water. A toilet
did they come in with a bucket to flush it, or what?
With a bucket to flush it, yes. With a bucket to flush it. And when we had water, we had to be taking care of the water, because the water was really few water.
Why?
So because these guys, that is a hell. That place are designed to break you. So they use the techniques to break you, because I was there with all these political prisoners, and beside us were other guys that I saw them maybe 1 year after, but I can hear when they were torturing them. I could hear it. I could hear the screaming in the night.
Did they torture you?
Physically not, but psychological a lot. And I can tell you that psychological torture can be even worse than the physical torture. But we saw and we heard a lot of physical torture.
Well, I tell you what, Gloria Senor Jesus, is your belief in Jesus, Yeshua or Jesus, is what brought you through, right?
Yes, of course, because I was there at the beginning in a total despair. I really, even at the beginning, I'm gonna confess, I was having suicidal thoughts because you are accused to being American spy. It's a communist regime, so you are thinking that you're gonna stay there forever. And I didn't know what was going on because I didn't have contact with my family. I lost that sense of time at some point because you are alone, no watch, nothing, no light, nothing. You lose the sense of the time. And after maybe 10 months, one day they opened the door and they told me to go out. They are going to have a visit. And when I went to a room waiting for the visit, it turned to be my wife.
Wow.
So my wife took the risk and she went to visit me. That was the first time that I knew that the U.S. government was working hard to bring us back. They were working
But
very
10
close.
10 months in utter and complete darkness. So did you have a light bulb, a book so you can read?
No, I didn't have books. I had light 24/7.
Oh.
So I didn't have light 24/7.
So the torture was to have lights all the time.
Of course. The
Did you
torture
have a
was
blanket and a bed or something?
in the beginning I was sleeping in the floor with a mattress stained with blood. I got scabies. At the beginning I had scabies. And
Well, scurvy from a lack of fruit?
Yes, and I begin to starve. I lost 100 pounds because there was lack of food. So the situation was totally terrible.
Why would you not have the compassion to feed your prisoner?
Because these guys, two things, they were really wanting to break you. Because they wanted to break us to beg that the government, the U.S. government, release us. That they wanted to break. But at the same time, that year, 2018, the situation with Venezuela was terrible because of the sanctions. So there was
because of what?
The sanctions.
Oh, the sanctions.
The sanctions. Yeah, the sanctions made that Venezuela had lack of food and lack of medicine. So we were being affected, same as the population of Venezuela. They were starving. Everybody was starving. After 1 year, the situation began to go very bad. They recalled the two ambassadors. The two ambassadors were recalled, the Venezuelan ambassador and the U.S. ambassador. So now there's no direct contact between the two countries. So it appeared that UN intervened in our case, the UN. So the UN flew to Venezuela and they interviewed us, me and the other 5 guys. But at that moment, I didn't know where they were. For the first time I hear that they were alive. And when we knew that, these guys saw us in a very, very bad shape. So they talked with the Venezuelan government, and that was the first time that they did 2 concessions. They decided to put the 6 together, and they approved that our family begin to supply us food. Our families to provide us food. So that's the way we begin to receive food. In my case, because the logistics to supply food from the U.S. to Venezuela was really difficult. So my family, they decided that my eldest son, he flew and moved to Bogota, and from Bogota, he began to provide me food. And he stayed doing that during 4 years. So the next 4 years, he began to provide me food. So he began to provide me food every Tuesday, every Thursday, and every Saturday. And when I was receiving the food, I had to return the trash cans. So what I began to do was begin to smuggle letters inside the trash cans. I began to communicate with my wife through those letters, and she began to reply me.
How was your wife privy to have the trash?
No, no, it's not. There was somebody in Venezuela taking care of the logistics. So let me tell you to your audience how was the logistics. My son is in Bogota. He bought the food he provided to Venezuela. Somebody in Venezuela picked up the food and they cooked. They sent it to the prison. And when they returned the trash cans, inside I put the letters. So this guy took a photo and sent it to my wife here to the US via WhatsApp.
How did he? But you knew normally they would just throw out the trash. How did they happen to find your letter?
Because in Venezuela there was no cans, so they were not throwing it; they were recycling. So because there was no cans, so they were watching it and recycling. So they sent it back to me.
But now you have pencil and now you had pencil and paper.
I didn't have paper. I was doing this. That I was receiving by that moment books. So I was taking the white papers, ripping it out and writing there, or maybe in some anchor.
How horrible! How horrible! Now listen, this is when that god awful man. He's the guy who ruined Venezuela's economy, right?
Yes, of course.
I mean, this guy was terrible. He's the one that got cancer and died.
That guy, yes, but now it's Maduro because the guy was Chavez. But this happened with Maduro, not with Chavez.
That's the guy that's in there now.
The guy who is now Maduro, yes.
Now, of course, we know that Trump wants to get him out of office because he says he's a bad guy.
Well, but he was trying to do it in the first government. The problem is that he lost the election and he could not finish the task. But Trump in the first government was trying to do what he's doing now. He was trying to do that. And that's the point. That's the way we could survive. And during those dark moments, we could have access to a Bible, and we begin to read Bible and pray on a daily basis. And there's where comes the faith that made us survive. That reading the Bible and praying on a daily basis was fundamental in our survival.
Wow. It's just a terrifying. Now, you said that, now I have not read your book. So I'm going to have to ask you to send me a review copy, and then we're going to redo this in the future. Now, do you ever come to Florida?
Yes, I come there. Yeah.
Okay.
I go to Florida.
So what I want to do is we will meet up. You either come to my studio.
Okay.
We have a nice little airport. I don't know if you have your own jet or not, but we'll fly you in, and we can do one face to face because this is it's very involved. And of course, I want to know how, most importantly, is how you endured this, and how your faith carried you through. It's got to be a horrible thing. I mean, and then I'd like to ask you. I mean, I'm jumping all over the place because I've got a million questions in my head. I wonder, how does this affect somebody? You know, Jesus learned obedience by the things which he suffered, okay? Mm-hmm. And it is written that he was a man acquainted with many sorrows. You know, people think that you get born again to Jesus and you're somehow going to have a party. But if you're really called of the Lord, he might let you have a party, as he did with me for a few years. Hallelujah, everything is wonderful. And then all of a sudden,
he beats you. Yeah.
Because it says right in the scriptures, we will share in his suffering. Now you see now, so I don't know you, but I see that you look, first of all, how old are you?
63.
Yes, you're a young looking 63. Now I know you're from Spanish background, so you have more the same color skin that Jesus would have, and you don't have a lot of wrinkles. Also, another thing that worked into your advantage though is that you're a mild-mannered individual. And your mild mannerism, I'm sure, helped you without maybe you even knowing it, because even if I was a military man, because if somebody, the Bible says a soft answer turns away wrath. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I didn't know that until I was 29 till I came to know the Lord. But I read that in Proverbs. And I remember one time there was a man who was the CEO of a company, and he came up on his golf cart, and I had recommended somebody to do something for him, and he was mad at me, and he was yelling, blah, 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 blah. But I remembered the scripture. And so I let him, I let him yell, and I did not return the yelling. And he calmed down, because if I throw you a ball and you throw it back, you're in the game.
Yeah,
But if I
of
throw
course.
you a ball and you don't throw it back, it takes the wind out of my sails. So I'm here interviewing you, and I'm thinking, so your mild mannerisms, and I don't even really know you yet, but I can see that you're a tender man, you're a gentleman, and so I'm sure that quelled their anger, knowing that you were flexible, teachable, and you were going to be what's the word when you do what they tell you to do, you know?
Well, let me tell you something, and that's so true what you're doing, Fred, because during those 5 years, the first year, as I said, was really terrible. Gradually, depending on how the negotiation was going with the U.S., there were some times that were going better. There were some times they were not going so better. But
Now, what's the last word you're saying? Better?
Better. Yes,
Yeah.
better, because we were the pawns of the political situation between Venezuela.
Pawns of the politics.
We were the pawns.
Yes.
Okay. So if something was going bad, we were going bad. If something was going good, we were going good. In the 4th year of our detention was the first time that there became to be a face-to-face negotiation after 4 years.
So they took off the masks.
And no, we received a visit of the ambassador Roger Carson, that he was in charge of the special presidential office for hostage affairs. So he flew to Venezuela to have the face-to-face meeting, and he came to visit us.
Now, let me ask you this. Are you a citizen of the USA?
Yeah.
Okay, so you already had your citizenship. You were born in Venezuela?
I was born in Venezuela, but my father, he began to work here when I was very young. He was assigned here to finalize his petroleum degree in Tulsa. So the first time I came to the US was when I was having 5 years. I flew back to Venezuela when I was 12. And when I was graduated, I was always going back and forward. So all my life I have been back and forward until I came back in here with Citgo, and I finalized my career, and I finally being here, and all my family is here today. But the point is that you were asking how we endured this.
Yes.
When we received that visit, we understood that at some point we were going to be released, because now they're having face-to-face negotiations. What happened in that moment is that we were having already faith, because we were reading the Bible on a daily basis, and we were praying on a daily basis. And let me tell you, we took almost 3 hours per day with that, almost 3 hours every day. So now you have your faith more strong. And when we received that visit, I was really, really ready to get back. My mindset was really in the mindset that prepared to come back. And there's what really changed everything, because I was thinking in my family, we were working hard ourselves to come back for our families. So we wanted to come back, strong in body and soul and spirit. And that's how we did it. So it's a matter of mindset.
Now, were you eventually allowed a Bible?
We were eventually allowed the Bible. In my book, you hear the story. And if you want, I tell you how was the story of the Bible. Because we didn't have books. We didn't have books. And one of the prisoners that was beside the cell beside us was a high-ranked general, that he was a prisoner. So that guy was very profoundly Christian. And one day, his wife smuggled to him a pocket Bible.
Oh, a pocket knife?
A pocket Bible. A pocket Bible.
A pocket Bible, a Gideon Bible.
Okay, so he comes with a pocket Bible, and we begin to read the Bible with a candle in the middle of the night. So that's how we begin to read the Bible. And we stayed doing that some time, and one day one of the guards discovered us doing that. And when the guard saw us doing that, the guard came to us and said, continue reading the Bible and pray for me. So he asked
The guard did?
the guard, yes. That guard, yeah,
Great story.
yeah, that guard, that is true. The
It
guard
reminds
came
me
and
of when
told us,
Paul was. It reminds me of when Paul was in prison.
well, let me tell you, that guy asked that we pray for him. And the next day, the guy brought us a full-size Bible and said that we were authorized to read the Bible.
Wow.
And we begin to do it, and more people came to the place. And at some point, we created like a church. That place became like a church. And we really saw the light of God in that moment. We were in a dungeon, in the worst of the condition, and reading the Bible, everybody, and praying and worshiping. We transformed that in a church. That place became a church.
So the dungeon became a crucible in a way, that it was squeezing, making you a more of a man of God.
Well, that's the way God operates, my friend. He was doing his thing.
Yeah.
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 Well, the Lord's heart is very near and dear to the prisoners, because, he says later on there will become a day of judgment, and many will come to him saying, well, we did signs and wonders and we cast out demons. And he'll say, I never knew you, as a husband knows a wife. But to others, he will say, you fed me, clothed me, and visited me in prison. You visited me in prison. And that they will say, we don't remember you, Jesus. When did we feed you, clothe you? And when did we visit you in prison? And he said, when you did it to the least of these, my brethren, you did it unto me. Come in, for your reward is great. To the others, he said, depart from me. I never want to see you again. So it's not that it's a salvation of works, but his heart. If you really have real faith, it's not a matter of acting religious and casting out demons and having hallelujah parties. It's that how many people really think maybe they're going to get in because they're out working away and they don't really have an intimate relation with him. Because if you really have an intimate relation with him, you're going to visit those in prison. So whether anybody visited you or not, he was certainly with you at this time. Did you ever feel a presence of the Lord? Just yesterday.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Tell me.
When we begin to do this, as I said, we were praying, reading the Bible. We begin to do literally Bible studies there. So we were studying the Old Testament, the New Testament. We begin to deeply, study it, and we were praying. And after we prayed, we really saw and felt the presence of him, because I began to sleep like a baby. I began to sleep like a baby. So all my fears, everything was gone. I would begin to sleep like a baby. And the days begin to go very fast. This is the other thing. The days begin to go very fast. Because we created this routine. We were having a daily routine that finalizes with a praying and reading the Bible. And when we finalized the day, we were shouting out that we wanted to come back strong in body, in soul, and spirit. And I slept like a baby.
Yeah, that's definitely a telltale sign.
Yeah.
I know to others out there, they may think I'm kooky, but when I'm close to the Lord, and good things like are happening in church on a Sunday, all of a sudden my appetite will be increased. It's almost like a gift of God. Like, you sleep better, you eat better, everything goes better with God.
I can tell you, Rhett, people can think that I'm crazy, but even when we were in the dark place, I was in peace. I was in peace because I felt the presence of God. I felt the presence of the Lord, and I was really thinking that he was protecting us. And when you have that mindset, that you truly believe that, the things begin to change. The last year that we were there, as I said, that this ambassador already had visited us. I told my wife to bring me a luggage, a carry-on luggage. And she asked me why. And I said, because I want to be ready when we're going to be released. So I already had that mindset that we were going to be released. And I put the luggage in a corner. And every morning I talked to the luggage. I told the luggage, be ready because we're going to go in any moment. It took 1 year. But one day they opened the door and I came with that luggage. He came with me. So today I use that metaphor because you don't have to carry on a heavy baggage because that is the one that you have to give to God. But carry on your luggage. Those are your dreams. Because that luggage for me was my dream. And it came with me. So that's what faith is. When you really believe something that you haven't seen, but you truly believe it, that's what faith is.
Well, I'm sure that this made you, if you reflect back now, like I said, I have not read your book yet, and I'm looking forward to reading, and then we'll get together in Florida and do a face-to-face interview. Okay. But I'm sure this changed you as a man, and now that you reflect back, can you yourself see the changes when you look in the mirror?
Of course. I was a guy, selfish, self-centered, full of ego because I had been gone in the top of my career. I have all my toys. I thought that I was, everything about me. I never thought that was because of God. I was not a guy giving thanks. I was not thankful. Today, I express gratitude on a daily basis. I do morning praise. I do my church service. So I'm a different man. I'm a totally different man. My wife, well, she enjoys the new Jose.
That sounds wonderful. Yeah, I'm working on a book myself now. I haven't released any books yet, but it's called We Only Grow in the Valleys.
That's true. That's so true, my friend.
I can remember when I was younger and I first knew the Lord at the age of 29. And I would go into the Christian bookstores and I would like the fluffy, nice, everybody's happy books. But when I read the books by these great preachers that said I was going to have to go through probably some crucibles and some tough times, I would put those books right down. I didn't want anything to do with those.
Because nobody wants to be going to a valley, but the truth is that you need to go to your valley because there's where you're going to not only have the presence of God, it's where he's going to force you to become a better man and a better person. So the valley is what is going to reshape you as a person.
Yeah. Now, you have been working, what's the title of the book, your first book?
My book is From Hero to Villain. Let me see if you can see it here.
Yes, From Hero to Villain. Now, why did you say to villain?
Okay, let me tell you why this is a story. Because, as I said, I flew to Venezuela to make the presentation, and we were like the hero because we were doing a great project. We were very successful, and internally in PDVSA, they saw us like a hero, that we were doing great. So I was treated like a hero. But I didn't know the plans of Maduro, that he wanted to treat us as a villain. Because if you go back to that day we were detained, Maduro, he did a TV announcement that he had caught 6 American spies, and we were treated like the worst of the villains. So that's why
he thought he had fooled you, and that maybe he really did think you were spies.
I don't know if he started to tell. I have never talked to him. I don't know if but that was a shame. Everything was false. So I don't know if they saw that or that was everything set up. But the truth of the matter, that everything was a sham trial. Everything was sham. But I decided to put that title because in 1 minute I was a hero. In 5 minutes after, I was a villain. So I went from hero to villain. So that's why I put that title.
So he was very cagey and very deceitful to bring you in under the guise, and then take you from hero to villain. Yeah, that's a terrible thing.
Yeah, wow. That's the story, yeah.
Wow. So now, do you have children?
I have 3 kids. Yes,
Now,
they're grown up. I have 3 grandsons.
How old were the children when you were kidnapped?
No, grown up. My eldest son, that was the who took care with my food. By that time, John had like 30 years. Today, he has 38. 38. He had 30 years by that moment. He had family. When he moved to Colombia, he moved with his 2 kids and his wife. So he moved with his family to take care of me, take care of me.
Wow.
And he stayed doing it during 4 years. My son.
Wow. That's a lot on the family too. How is your wife?
Oh, she's awesome. She's my hero.
Yeah.
She's a true hero of this story because they did a lot to bring us back. We were 6 families because remember I was with my 5 vice presidents.
Yes.
That's how we became the Citgo 6 because we were 6. So now our 6 families fighting to bring us back. 6 families, and the 6 families were working hard. They created something called the Citgo 6 Coalition. And the Citgo 6 Coalition met other families that were having the same thing with other countries. Family having problems with family being hosted in Russia, in China, in Afghanistan, in other countries. So they got together and they created a movement called the Bring Our Family Home campaign. So that campaign,
Bring Our Family Home
campaign. Yes. Today, the Bring Our Family Home campaign is active.
Now, so this had to affect these other vice presidents of Citgo.
Yes, of
that
course.
worked under you as the CEO of Citgo Gasoline. This had to etch the heart of God into them too. Were they all men of faith, or did they turn to become men of faith?
5 of us became men of faith. Not because he praised Buddhism. He's a Buddhism. One of our guys, he praised Buddhism.
Oh, Buddhist.
Buddhism, yeah.
Well, I have
the other 5, we became Christians.
Well, I have to tell you something. This young man, he was a young Buddhist, and this supposedly is a true story. Okay, so he claims it is. He was a young Buddhist, and he died. And they put him in the whatever they do to him, and they're about to do the funeral pyre, which is the fire where they burn you.
Mm-hmm.
He wakes up on the fire and sits up, and he says, "The Christians have it right. The Christians have it right. Jesus is Lord. Buddha is in hell. Buddha is in hell." Wow. This is coming from a Buddhist monk.
Wow.
So we need to warn people, there's only one who came to die for us. And all other religions say you must give up all these other things to become religious. Muhammad, give your life for me. Do this, And Christianity is the only one where Jesus says, no. You don't die for me.
I die for you.
Yeah. And if you accept my love and my gift, it's quite a remarkable story. I was not brought up religious. My grandmother took me to Catholic church maybe 6-7 times. I never knew what Easter was. Even as a 20-year-old, I thought Easter was about Easter baskets. And I didn't know anything about it. I didn't even know what the resurrection was. So suddenly I have friends start to tell me about Jesus. I'm in my 20s and I get born again in my living room. I have an encounter with Jesus and radically changed my life. So it's very exciting to hear that these 5, and now what I want to know now is, you were in prison, kidnapped for 5 years. Okay. Did you all get together, your families? Have you reunited? Do you have conversations with these men who you were imprisoned with for 5 years?
Yeah, we meet like 2 or 3 times in the year.
You do?
We, in December, the mayor of Houston, we received a call from the office of the mayor, and he wanted us to go to an event. So when we attended the event resulted to be that he was giving the proclamation, and he was created the Citgo 6 Day here in Houston. So today we have our own day here in Houston every December 19th.
No, really?
Yeah. So we have the Citgo 6 Day here in Houston. Yeah.
Well, how do you like that?
Well,
wow.
And I have my own proclamation.
Wow. That's really something. Now, when did your book come out?
It has like 1 year. It came out like 1 year ago.
Are you selling many copies, or?
Oh yeah, I have. It has been. Yeah, the book became let me tell you that the English version, that is this one. Okay, here's the camera. The English version, this one became the best true memoir in an international award, and it was Amazon first place. And the Spanish version, this one had 4 times in 4 categories Amazon first place. 4 times.
4 times what? And on Amazon.
Amazon number 1 in
Really?
4 categories.
Now,
In 4 categories.
Now, let me ask you something. To the novice out there, they may not understand this, but I've been on the radio almost 32 years now. I've done over 40,000 interviews. You know, many books are written and they come on talk radio or podcast because they know that sells books. Intelligent people listen to talk radio or they listen to podcasts. So we sell a lot of books. So I wanted to know, what did I want to know? Oh, did you hire a professional writer to help you write this, or did you do it all yourself?
I do it myself because this book is based on the letters I could smuggle with my wife.
Oh.
So those letters became this book. So I had the letters, the original letters. I have it here. So my wife has compiled those letters, and I use those letters to be my book. So my book has that particular thing, that is the letters I wrote during my captivity.
Now, when you come to Florida and we meet, I hope you have your wife with you, because to me, she's my hero. Because you had a lot of money, you were making a lot of money, CEO of Citgo, you had all the toys, as you said, you were a man of pride, and she could have been a superficial wife who did not really care. She might say she loves you, but it's a convenience, and yet here she flew in to see you, visit you. She was with you, and it sounds like you happened to marry a great woman of God. Did this whole catastrophe, this kidnapping, did it bring your wife closer to a relationship with Jesus?
Oh yeah, both. We do today have our own ministry in our church. We do church service, and we're now studying theology. We're doing theology studies together. Yeah.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you're studying theology, but I do want to warn you. D.L. Moody had no theological training, no degree. See, I'm kind of an anti-degree people because Jesus said, remember it says in the Bible, they're forever learning, but never coming to the knowledge of truth. Now, you've come to the knowledge of truth, but and I'm glad you're doing that, and it's fun to learn theology. And I've done a lot of studying on my own, but I realize the most important thing is now that you and your wife have been granted going through this hell on earth and coming out the other side. You now have a gift that I hope that you spread the gospel of Jesus, and it doesn't have to be complex, and it doesn't have to be theologically perfect either. The fact that you've gone through this, I want to encourage you, that I'm always worried about that rabbit hole if you go down into it with too much education. You know what I'm saying?
I don't see it that way. Let me tell you my case.
Yes, sir.
Because I really, when I came back, I felt the calling that I needed to spread my word, because my testimony is a testimony that how God operates. So I began to speak. I became a speaker. I am speaking today. That's why I got connected with Bruce. I did my book that has a profound reflection. If you go to my book, there is a profound reflection of how Jesus and God operated in me. And I begin to do church service. Today I attend 2 ministries in my church, and my wife is with me. So we are totally integrated there.
Beautiful.
So we took this like a ministry, like a calling.
So this is just really. So what happened to your captors?
All the captors, almost all, it's incredible. Some of these guys are in jail. Some these guys have dead.
Have what? Dead?
Dead. And Maduro is almost, have a lot of battleship in the front of the sea that maybe Trump is gonna take him out. So these guys are gonna be gone at the end. I don't feel no revenge. I don't feel nothing in my heart. I left everything to God. I told God, they're in your hands.
And that's And God, I know this sounds crazy, but as bad as he is, I'm sure the Lord would have you and your wife join as two. You know, one can send 1,000, two can send 10,000 in prayer, that you would pray for Maduro, because I guess everybody can be redeemed till they die, you know, and up to that point, then it's over. And I remember one time praying to the Lord, and then I opened the Bible and he showed me, he said, well, you have seen God. Now, I've not seen him, but I understood what he was saying. You have seen God. These people are in darkness, just like the things we see, the evil taking place. You know, you can decide to hate, but hate is of no effect, because only, like Martin Luther King said, hate cannot conquer hate. Only love can conquer hate. And, you know, I had a friend of mine who just died yesterday.
Wow.
And he has a radio show with us. He's a co-host with a pastor that has a radio show with us. And Daniel, he told me that he was a bad man. He'd gone to prison and other things. And one man owed him $20,000, and the man would not pay him back. So one day, Daniel cries out to God and said, God, Jesus, if you're real, you know what I'm capable of. And I'm going to go and I'm going to kill that man.
Wow.
But if you're real, show yourself to me. And guess what he said? He said he heard audible voice. Audible. The Lord spoke to him and he got born again. But he got devastating cancer in the past few months. And I just was informed yesterday he died yesterday.
Wow.
But, you know, he's with the Lord. And he heard that Lord. And so
I don't feel hate. I don't feel hate. I don't have nothing in my heart. I don't think about that. I forgive them, and I told God, you do what you have to do. That's nothing to me. I don't feel absolutely nothing in my heart.
Well, I think that's wonderful, because he does say, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord.
I don't feel that.
I had somebody stole a lot of money from me a few years back. This little small midget lady had been on my show, and she said she was a Christian, but as it turns out, you know, you could quote the Bible, but she didn't know Jesus. So she stole from me. But you know what? I have no bitterness towards her. And I always look at situations and go, what was my hand in this? What can I learn from this? You know, but it's pointless to hold bitterness, because the old saying is, if you take 2 glasses of water, do you see my glass of water? If you take 2 glasses of water and you pour salt, which is the anger, into the one glass, it doesn't affect the other glass.
Yes.
So it's to our benefit to not be bitter. But, you know, go.
Mandela, you mentioned Mandela. Mandela said that if he doesn't forgive his captor, he will be a prisoner of his mind every time. It's the same thing as me. If I don't forgive this guy, I will still be a hostage, because these guys are okay. They're not thinking in me.
No.
So why am I going to be thinking in them?
But the one guard who brought you in the big Bible, I hope he's okay.
I don't know. You know something? I never saw that guy again, but I believe that it's incredible. But that guy, he understood that he was in a wrong place doing wrong thing. Because when that guy asked to pray for him, wow, that guy wanted to save his soul. You know?
Yes. That's a wonderful story.
Yeah. But it happened. It happened.
Yeah, I'm sure he's okay.
I hope.
Yeah, I'm sure Jesus was faithful. I have so many questions in my heart and my soul. Look, I can't wait till you come to Florida, and I long to give you a brotherly hug.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
I celebrate your success, and I'm so glad you not only were freed from prison, but you were freed from another type of a prison. And that's the prison many people are seeking. Jesus said, why do you work for that which you cannot keep? This world is quickly passing away. You and I will be off this earth soon. And the things of this, you know, the fame of man is fleeting. You and I have lived long enough. We've seen people become famous. And then the next generation is the kids are going, well, who's that? but they were a rock star. I don't know that person. Movie stars, they're forgotten. It all moves along. So the fame of man is fleeting. And you said you had a car, and what's that car that costs $3 million now? The Pagito, whatever it is. Anyway,
I don't know. I don't know.
But it is ridiculous how people get ensnared with prestige and stuff. And you were there. You were in prison.
I was there. I knew all those toys. And tell me if I care today about that.
No. But so what I want to, I guess, deliver the message to anybody that's hearing this, however little you have, however much you have, the Bible does say, blessed are the poor in heart, not poor in pocket. Either way, it doesn't matter. Poor in heart. Well, what does that mean, Rhett? It means, do you know you have need of God? Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that you will agree with me that you and I, of our own, are not any big shots. We have no prestige. Matter of fact, we have no righteousness. Correct. Our only rightness comes because we are in a place of sin in the fallen state of paradise. And our only righteousness is that Jesus, who was without sin, went to that cross and died, becoming sinful on that cross. And therefore, we who are sinful could become sinless, because he who was sinless became sinful on that cross. And this way, because God cannot accept anybody into his bosom who is not holy. So it's the greatest love story ever created.
Correct.
Really
and let me tell you something else, that to the people that are hearing this, today, everything that I do in my life, I do it intentionally to serve the calling of God. Everything. I don't do nothing that is not aligned. And that's why I always ask God to give me wisdom, to give me discernment, if something is coming or not coming from him, because everything I do today is intentional.
Well, you know what I'd like to do is we get to know each other and you come to America. Maybe we could set it up. I'd like to interview you on a platform, maybe at a church or a stage. And I hope that can come to pass. And secondly, I'd like to get you booked at some churches to speak, to tell this story. But anyway, we'll continue our new friendship. Hold up your book again. It's available in Amazon. It's been number 1 4 times. Hold it up so they can see it.
This is, let me put it here.
Yes,
okay.
From Hero to Villain. And so you're working on a new book. And what's that going to be about?
Okay, well, this is the new book. This book is more a working book. This book, let me put it here.
Unbreakable.
It's called Unbreakable. This is a book, lessons to leaders. It's lessons of leadership based on biblical principles.
Biblical principles.
Because one of the things that I discovered, because I did my career in the oil and gas. I did a long career in the oil and gas. I work in a lot of joint ventures during my 30 years with a lot of oil and gas companies as partners of our company. So let's say that I had leadership experience, but I went through this experience being a hostage. Now I went to a situation that I never expected to go, but I learned. I learned through that. So I put those two experiences and I created a coaching program. And I began to work on that, but I began to find that many of the things that a leader has to do, all of them are in the Bible.
All of them in the Bible. And listen to this. I broadcast. I've been on the radio now 31 years, 32 years, whatever it is. And so I broadcast in Vero Beach, Florida. We have more Fortune 500 retired CEOs than any zip code in the United States. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because you are the former CEO of Citgo. They might listen, even though they're deaf to the gospel of Jesus Christ. If I can bring you in to speak at some of these places where the wealthy are collective, we can bring, and they will listen to you because you're a former CEO. They will respect you, and maybe some of them will hear the gospel of Jesus Christ. So let's talk more in the future. And I can't wait to meet your hero, your bride, that she stuck with you through thick and thin.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful love story. It's a wonderful that Jesus came and 5 years imprisoned as a political prisoner and kidnapped. You could have lost your very life. It's just a wonderful story. And I want to thank you for coming on my broadcast. And I look forward to meeting you this winter, okay?
Okay, thank you, Rhett. That was an awesome interview.
Gloria, Senor Jesus Amigo. And if you want a copy of it, visually or audibly, after we get off the air, call Doolin Dalton, my producer, and he'd be happy after he edits it to send it to you. And you can put the interview on your website or wherever you want to put it, okay?
Thank you, Rhett. It was
Okay.
awesome interview. God
Thank
bless
you,
you, my
Lord
friend.
Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Have a great day, my friend.
Bye-bye.